Welcome to AI Lab Unfiltered. We're going to take a deep dive into everything AI. I am Drew Veach from BizStream. I am joined by Mr. Pete Tarrin from New Wave. I don't know why that's funny. In today's episode, we talk about monitoring livestock using AI technology. We talk about how to pick your next haircut using AI and taking the first steps with AI in your business. We are down at the beautiful Studio Jefferson, and this is down in Grand Rapids. It's got I love the lights in here. I just love it's the video producer in me. I love the lights in here. It's just even, it's high. I just can't get lighting like this at my house or anything when I'm on camera. So
if you can make Drew look good, you've got good lights.
Exactly. They do my makeup. No. Think Tank Thought Leadership is who powers us. We wouldn't be here without them. They handle our production. They handle all of the editing, all of our social, any kind of engineering. They helped us put together everything with our podcast. They even helped us with the graphics and with our name. All just a vision from Pete and I, and they help just kind of bring that out of us and make it our own. So we would not be here without them. Big shout out to them. If you're looking to do a podcast, talk to Think Tank Thought Leadership. Look them up online. They got a great website. They're on LinkedIn, or hit either Pete or I up on LinkedIn. We'd be happy to talk about it. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Like I say, if you want to be cool, have a podcast. Yeah. If you're going to do a podcast, do it with Think Tank Thought Leadership.
Sounds like you read that, but all right. So today we have a really cool guest. It's a guy I've been wanting to have on here for a while. He is a serial entrepreneur. He has dozens and dozens of businesses that he has started or is currently working at. I have no idea when this man sleeps, if he even sleeps. I'd like to welcome Mr. Zach Booker.
Yeah, thank you, Drew and Pete. Appreciate it. Thanks to Think Tank Thought Leadership.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, did I say it right?
You did.
Yes,
you did.
It's so crazy with the many names that City Innovations has under their umbrella. This is one of them. So thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
So how we got introduced. So Drew and I all three of us were at the City Innovation Open House downtown. This is this summer. And was talking to Dan Hungerford, who's been a guest on the podcast, who's also a very busy man. I don't know how he sleeps either. And he said, "You need to talk to Zach." And I said, "Okay, I don't know who Zach is." And I talked to everybody about AI. And when AI became the topic, you're like, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm involved in this business. And we're using AI in a very unique way, one that I would never have conceived of, that I had never heard of before." So maybe that's a good place to start if you want to talk about that business and how they're applying AI in this way.
Yeah, happy to. So I think the company you're referring to is Motion Grazer AI, and it's a brainchild that came out of MSU's Tech Transfer Office. So a bunch of PhDs at MSU developed a concept to be able to capture imagery of livestock from top-down, side view, and potentially 3D imaging, and then create biometric data for farmers to be able to make decisions faster, thus providing them better margin, better profits. Because specifically in swine, there's a significant amount of attrition due to death, in the swine livestock community. And for us to be able to get ahead of that and understand the why allows the farmers to be able to make those decisions that are much healthier for the farm and also for the balance sheet.
I don't know, you got a little bit more specific with me, and I don't know how much of that you want to talk about here on the podcast. And if we can always edit something out if you don't want it to be in here. But I thought it was fascinating. Like, it's literally like looking for things like the gait of that swine.
Yeah.
And it might move in a way that would indicate that it's either injured or there's some other health thing going on there. So aside from that, what are some of the other things that AI is monitoring to check the health of the animals?
Yeah. So AI in this instance would be the generative outcomes derived from the data that it's collected, right? So the data it's collecting are the joints and positions of those joints on each swine, and then that gives the I guess the PhDs the understanding of how to tweak the algorithm to ultimately allow machine learning and AI to come up with those outcomes, so that the farmers are understanding of what options are in front of them. So, for example, the gait, when we measure the gait, that's like the breedability. So if we could attach an objective score to that, so that we can start to benchmark their entire community of pigs, that would be huge for the pig farmers. On top of that, if we could, I guess, zoom out a little bit and give a body condition score, not just breedability, but a body condition score, that's an interesting fact. Because if we can get even ahead of the death of a pig 30 days in advance and understand that, hey, if it broke a leg, we're able to see that, especially if they have millions of pigs on their farms, we're able to see that and then address that pig by the number through RFID tagging. Then that farmer is able to capture at least $150, maybe $200 by processing that pig, because a dead pig is worth zero.
Right.
You'd shared the amount of them that don't make it to production, I guess, is a really high number. And so, so the more that you can reduce that number, it seems more humane that way. So at least that the life of that pig has, some kind of a fruitful outcome, right? Like and the farmer's getting something out of it. It actually could reduce the cost of the meat because there's not so much attrition, right? Like they're going to make more money because they're investing food in that thing, whether it has a broken leg or not.
Right.
But if it can't make it to production, then that money is wasted and their costs are higher because of it.
100%. Or if it cannot breed anymore, we understand that the life of that pig now has to still provide value to that pig farmer. So, you touched on it where if we can be able to get ahead of illness or sickness, because that's a huge issue for a lot of farmers. This illness and sickness can sometimes kill 40 to 50% of the alive pig community in the farm. That is a ton of attrition.
Yeah, literal ton.
Literal ton. Yeah, so that has a direct reflect into pricing, consumer pricing.
Yeah,
right. Limited supply still kept the demand high, but our supply is starting to diminish.
Yeah,
and prices are going to rise.
Yeah. Well, even if you think about it from the pig's perspective, which I don't do a lot, but if I'm able to get the attention that I need, if I'm diagnosed with the data that comes, it's being collected and aggregated by AI, and I could get the medical attention I need, it could improve and expand or extend my lifespan too. So there's a lot of good benefits that come from that.
Yeah.
So how was this getting done before this type of, like, how do they do it, I guess, manually before?
Yeah. So they actually have a caliper that they put on the last rib of the pig, and that measures, the caliper score. And that caliper score is right now the benchmark. Unfortunately, still leaves room for, human error.
Yeah.
It's very subjective at times. Sometimes you're not able to get to those pigs in an efficient way, and that pig may die before the next caliper score is reviewed. So if we have 24/7 monitoring inside of those farms, we never have to worry about the ability to get on a regular cadence, because it's giving us real-time data on, like, right now, all the time. So.
And you have to touch 1 million pigs, right? Like if they have a massive farm, the manual effort that goes into calipering 1 million pigs, that's a lot.
Yeah.
If you could repurpose that into proactive health of those animals, that's a way better investment of that time.
Yeah, introducing a new level of stress too, because now you have a human, interacting
right.
with swine, which they don't do all the time.
They don't just sit and roll over and say, "Come caliper me." Yeah, they're probably running like hell trying to get away from them.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to bite.
Yeah.
Plus the amount of human error that's getting put in there too. Like, I'm sure they have more than one person doing that. So the way you're measuring it versus the way I'm measuring it's different. Yep. Well, now you got different results. Now you got different data. Now which one's right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a heck of an intro.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's interesting. I'm not a pig expert or even agricultural expert. I actually have no history in agriculture. I just know business really well. So MSU tapped me on the shoulder to lead this effort for them and develop the team and get this MVP out to market.
Can you talk about the technology of it at all?
Not intelligently. So remember,
That went a different direction than what I was expecting.
I'm the business guy. I'm focused on the growth. I'm dangerous to know, dangerous to have an aspiration to learn, right? I want to learn how things work, but only in an effort to help, right? Because not a lot of these professors, a lot of the staff have full-time jobs as professors at MSU.
Sure.
So, the business administration individuals have to take this on, all the rest of the time. So for that, we try and capture as much knowledge in a very efficient and accelerated time period so that we can just step in and help and keep the partnerships alive.
And are those pig farms just in Michigan, or is this national? Like what? I got to imagine at some point it's going to go national.
It is national, yeah. Yep, and even international. So we are doing pilots in Canada right now, and there's interest to go throughout the rest of North
Canadian
America.
bacon.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to.
There's your dad joke. for the episode.
Yeah.
Are there expansions of the technology, the ways that they're not using it now? Like what are some of the forward-looking options there?
Yeah, I mean, we're spearheading with swine because that's where a lot of the PhDs that created this have their expertise. But this technology can be brought into any and all livestock, right? This is again tracking the joint and movement of livestock in general. So this could be revolutionary for the agricultural industry by utilizing either existing camera infrastructure inside of the barns or installing cameras, but that go through our patented algorithm and technology, ultimately giving that UI experience to a pig farmer and that dashboard view of the data so they can make those decisions on demand.
That's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I mean, especially any four-legged animal, right? You already have the gait's the gait, probably. I'm sure there's some variation between species, but I mean, the gait's the gait. If they're limping no matter what the animal they are. So, yeah. So cool. So that's one area. I think there are 27 other companies that you're involved in as well. Are out of the pool of companies that you're either advising or invested in or a part of in any other way, what other ones are more AI? They're leaning into AI.
So good question. We actually, as a generalized CEO, and I've said this before, but in any company, in any industry, I'll say, hey, we need AI. And then they'll ask, well, how do we need it? How's it going to work? What's the desired outcome? I don't know, but we need it.
We just need it.
We need AI, and we need it tomorrow.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
So this, for example, I've got barber shops. Barber shops have the ability to utilize AI, but usually from a consumer lens. So that consumer lens could have the ability for generative, optics on what a haircut could look like on them. Right. I've been in the hair industry for a while, and I sold to barbershops once before. We got them back a couple of years ago. But the ability for people to be able to choose a hairstyle from just taking a selfie and then swiping through the options, it would, that's pretty cool. A level of AI.
That makes sense, though. I mean, what a great use of it to see, and it can do that relatively simply. Yeah. I mean, not that I have hair to worry about it, but it would just be.
Yeah, okay. I see some.
I see some things. We'll do that in post. We'll add some more. But to be able to flip through and go, yeah, that's the one. Now I can see what it's on. I mean, just the satisfaction rate has got to go way up too.
Yeah. You know? So that experience, and then understanding the desired outcome, right? So now the consumer can be able to show that to the stylist or barber. Hey, this is what I would like to have it look like, and now it's the barber's,
Now they gotta
opportunity.
gotta meet that objective.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. This is what success looks like. So the barbershops have the AI. I own a handful of home services businesses, so roofing, construction, HVAC. These have the opportunity for AI utilization as well, but more on the back end. So we see this in the ability to train. So training employees, training new recruits, the ability for them to see, like for example, an air conditioner, and then to remedy the air conditioner's issues pretty fast using generative outcomes based on, the suggested phrases they put in there, right? So it leaves an opportunity for the customer to see, and really the customer experience to see an accelerated outcome, because these recruits are trained and in a very fast, mature way on how to fix issues while they're at the house. Which is pretty cool.
Because before generative AI, I should say, because everybody that's in the know likes to say that AI has been around for a long time when they want to show how cool they are. I get it. But before generative AI, the last few years of AI, you could Google a code from an air conditioner unit and it would tell you, yes, this is wrong or this has failed or whatever. But now with the live camera, and it's the model's running as you're showing your camera with video, not just taking a picture, but with live video, you can move around and you can say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. What do I need to do to fix this? Or how do I get this cover off? Or, all those things can be done with today's technology. And I've done it with a snowblower. I took a picture of it and I said, I need to know what oil to put in this thing. And it pulled up, went and read the manual, came back and said 5W, 30 or whatever oil for that. And I'm like, man, this is awesome.
Right. No more guessing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What did my dad say I was supposed to put in this, like what kind of oil, he's not here. I can't reference my father and the legacy that he's given. So yes, it does. It gives us that. A lot of that is aspirations for a lot of our smaller companies. So like the home services companies, the infrastructure is there, but the ability and aspiration to implement the technology is still future facing. Right, so we can't do it, all today, but we have it in software dev. Software dev language. We have sprints that are headed towards, the desired outcome.
Yeah.
So that is pretty cool. But still, with AI, it is not having the emotional intelligence or the critical thinking inside of it. So that service or that trade still has to have that maturity to it. It still has to have the hands-on maturity to it. So, yeah.
So when you look at some of these companies that you have a hand in, then and you want to do something with AI, there's something in here that can be solved. You're a problem solver. You look at various points in there to go, we can fix this and we can make this more efficient. We can work on this. How do you then like you said, everybody's looking at it and going, what do you mean we have to use AI? Like how do you then get that culture to then embrace that, to go, yep, we're on board. What do you want to do?
Yeah. So it's a good question. I immediately think, so I help lead a faith-based incubator called Startup Garage. Yep. So Startup Garage allows entrepreneurs to be able to come in, meet and be introduced to a network of, mature mentors, advisors, and just, to soak up knowledge around like-minded people. We see a ton of these questions asked. How do I use AI? When do I use it? I don't want to be irrelevant. I probably should use some level of AI today. Otherwise, I'm going to be left in the dust. So for that, I have a mantra in my life. I say, don't talk about it, be about it. Go try it. Go test it out. Go fail. Go. And I think Jennifer Wangler said this on one of your podcasts. Start small. Start personal. Yep. Go build a travel plan with it. Go figure it out in a very efficient way, very non-invasive way to business, not disruptive. Go fail fast, fail cheap.
Yep. Think big, start small, scale quickly. I forget where that came from, but that one's always stuck with me when you're trying to take on something new. Have the big vision, which you have no problem with. The implementation's always that first step is always the hardest part, like going from idea to the first step. But if you just start with something small, it's not, you don't have to, as Drew said so eloquently, eat the mountain.
Yeah. How do you eat a mountain? One spoonful at a time.
Right. Yeah.
However that phrase goes.
I think it's eat an elephant, but yes.
It is. An elephant that's monitored by an AI that knows if it's ill or.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do. I mean, we have, we have an opportunity to just use it, and it's at our fingertips. The workflows, the strategies that are put in place, that is built with the experts. That is built with those, with the custom software dev AI, experts that are saying, hey, there are platforms out of the box that we can use, or we can create something that can intertwine the DNA of your company throughout.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of opportunity for that.
Build, buy, or partner.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we always look at as well. So when you start talking with a company, just taking one company and talking with them about AI, are you coming to the table pointing some of that out? Are they coming to you saying, hey, we found some opportunities. What do you think of this? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Who's driving it?
That's a good question. And this is sort of why I like the diversity of my portfolio, is because I do have some companies that have teams that are AI forward or technology forward or growth, have a growth mindset, where others are somewhat reactive because they run lean. We have a small team, sometimes owner-operated solopreneurs that are, looking to grow. So we tend to borrow brilliance throughout the ecosystem of the portfolio, which is nice. But speaking for me, I'm a visionary, like you guys probably see. And my team is probably sick of me saying this, but I know sausage needs to be made. I just don't know how to make the sausage. And that's where I surround myself around smarter people.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm the dumbest one in the room, I'm in the right room, much like this room today. So if I can,
you might be fighting for that title.
If I can, I find these integrators that can come alongside and say, I got this. It's my weakness that they're taking as their strength.
Yeah.
Allowing that to happen organically is pretty powerful because it creates a really trusting relationship and partnership with a lot of people.
It's brilliant. I mean, I've been around a lot of visionaries, and you can have a lot of fun conversations with visionaries. Get a bunch of them in a room, and you've literally solved the world in about an hour and a half. Yeah. And then everybody goes home and they're like, well, I hope somebody does something with that.
Right.
So if you don't partner the dreamers.
Nobody to implement. Yeah.
If the dreamers don't meet up with the doers, then nothing gets done. Yeah. So it's brilliant to then, be self-aware to know I'm not going to take this to the finish line. I need to work with somebody that will. And I'm going to reward that because you have to, because if it's a skill set that you don't have, then you have to reward that, right? And that's what partnering is, and it sounds like what you build. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, much like a marriage. Okay, so can I share this?
Yeah.
All right, so my wife, saint of an individual, she said this a couple weeks ago when we went on an event. We were talking, and she said, if Zach and I were both visionaries, we'd be homeless, but the most positive, optimistic, homeless couple in the world, because we'd want to take over, and we have so many ideas. But she is an integrator, right? So she is able to take my idealist mindset and give me space to fail, usually 24 hours, and then give me the realist, perspective.
Yeah. Yes. So,
Angie's really good at that, but I see that a lot. If you get us visionaries in a room, we're a whiteboard full of ideas, and then we're like, all right, see you tomorrow. We don't know really what to do with this. Yeah. Like, anybody going to do anything with this? So, very much the same.
I totally get that sentiment, because my wife and I are the exact same as being the opposite. I am more visionary. She is the implementer. She's the integrator. She's the what are the steps are you going to do to get that done? What steps? What do you mean? It's like, she lets me dream for a while and then kind of come back to reality of, okay, now what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
And it's always interesting. It's like, well, I haven't thought that far.
Right. Yeah, it's like circling back to what we talked about last time, or at the beginning of this conversation, is as a CEO, we're like, yeah, I want AI. I don't know how I want it.
Yep.
I just know I need it.
Yeah.
And talking of maybe double clicking on that for a second, when CEOs and I've talked to a lot of them, a lot of peers have said, I know we need AI, for staying relevant, staying future facing forward, especially if you're fundraising. All the investors are saying, if you don't have AI usage today, we're not even interested in talking. So a lot of CEOs will say, we're trying to drive it for relevancy, but we're also trying to drive redundancy. So the employees have this fear, and I think you guys have touched on this before, have a fear of it replacing their job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So as a CEO, we have a responsibility to maintain culture, right? It's our responsibility to keep culture high, keep things positive, keep it optimistic. It's the 3 F's of CEO: firm, fair, friendly. So we have a responsibility to do that, but we also have a responsibility on administrative end to drive a succession plan. So if things go sideways, if I get hit by a bus, I want people to know that there's something or someone to step in my place. So AI can help complement a lot of processes around the business, and really much of any business can complement them, but not replace them. And it's the CEO's responsibility to maintain that exposure to the employees by saying this is not a replacement, but in the back end, the CEO does have to have a succession plan.
Yeah.
Certainly, and even a knowledge succession plan of somebody that has a certain knowledge about, they've been with the company for 10 plus years, they have institutional knowledge. If you're feeding that data into the model, you're creating a data repository of these things, these tenets of the company, that doesn't leave with the individual. Right.
Yep.
And because there are people who might stay with the company because they're afraid of what will happen to the company when they leave. Right. And this gives the person more freedom to make decisions. It gives more freedom to maybe move laterally within, because there are people that there are people that you're hesitant to promote because they're doing such a good job in their role, that you're like, man, if I promote them, then they're not doing that. And if I don't have anybody to fill that spot, then we're going to have a hole there. Well, if there's a digital twin of that person, that knowledge doesn't leave. Somebody else can step in, and there's not as much of a ramp up for that new person in that role, because there's AI augmenting that role. The person who was in there, because they've been a great employee, now they've got more vertical movement within the organization, because you don't want to hold them back because they're so good in doing what they're doing. So there's a lot that can come from that.
Yeah, 100%. So, AI uses data, historical data that's fed to it to be able to come up with the outcomes. So we have data rooms that we create within our businesses. Usually we have data rooms, again, as part of a redundancy. So those data rooms will put SOPs, standard operating procedures. Those SOPs are the brain power, the experience of the individuals who have roles and responsibilities in the company. So their role and responsibility we put on paper. And I encourage a lot of my advising clients and a lot of the businesses I own to be able to drive those SOPs in a transparent way. Explain this to me as if I was 5. Put this on paper. We'll put it in our virtual data room. And now AI can be able to comb that and understand now that role. Yep. And then it gives us the ability to say, okay, if we had attrition, then we're able to not have to completely get brake checked on our growth.
Yeah.
We have an interim solution until we find another individual that fits our mission, vision, values.
Yeah. So in the attrition example, if you need to create a job posting for that role, and AI has access to all those SOPs and job description, everything, yep, that's a 5-second task. Create a job posting for this role because so-and-so left. Here you go. It's done. The new person comes in. okay, what are the things that we need to train this new person on? Well, the SOPs, the job description, everything's already in there. It can come up with a training plan for you that you don't have to sit down and build. Cross training too, or who do I need to go to? Like when you're new to a company, you're trying to figure out like who do you go for things? Like who has the answers? Well, if AI has access to all that documentation, they can just literally go to the chatbot and say, "Hey, I need to submit a vacation request. How do I do that? Who do I go to?" Oh, well, here it is. We have that all documented. Here's exactly how you do it. Just here, and here's the link. Click on this, and you can go do that. Or, this client's mad, and I don't know who to talk to. Who's their rep or who deals with this person? Oh, instead of broadcasting an email out or walking around to the cubicles and screaming across the room or whatever it is. I mean, I think about it like an AI operating system, and so sitting that AI on top of all that data, it really lubricates the gears in my mind, because things can just move so much more smoothly.
Yeah.
So I got a question. At New Wave, does Chad and Kyle, do they challenge the team to be able to integrate that AI on an administrative level? Even though you guys are technology forward. So,
yeah.
I mean, on the back end, though, administratively, does Chad, as a visionary, sort of ask for that?
Chad, if he was sitting, well, he has sat in that chair. We've interviewed him before, would have said the exact same thing that you were saying about we need to implement AI. Okay. Being a classic visionary, he is not like, here is the sausage recipe and here's how you go do it. So that falls on me. I'm the director of operations, developing. What I say is how we're bridging the chasm between idea to first step is to pause and develop an AI strategy. I've shared this story on here, so I'll share it again. I actually shared it when Chad was our guest. I'm part of the leadership team. We were doing quarterly planning, talking about AI, of course. And our president, Kyle, Chad's brother, looks at me and goes, "Pete, what's our AI strategy?" Mm-hmm. And I looked at him like, "We don't have one." I was like, that was such a light bulb moment. It's like, oh man, how are we going to implement anything if we don't have a plan for how to implement it? So a lot of work has gone into developing that AI strategy, and just like, what does communication to the company look like? What does training look like? Training is a huge piece of it, and then lifting everybody up and giving everybody AI knowledge, building more of a grassroots AI implementation, because you're empowering people and giving them the tools that they need and saying, "Hey, go fix things and find ways to apply AI." But then also identifying workflows and do all those things if you don't sit down and plan all that out. So that's what we've been doing and what we're working, and also helping other companies do the same thing.
So full transparency, I did hear that podcast.
Okay.
That's why I did ask that question.
Okay. All right.
So, good CEOs ask good questions.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you touched on that, because it does meld into even having some level of imposter syndrome, because we posture ourselves saying, we know this.
Yep.
Because people look to us for answers as experts or as leaders. So the imposter syndrome is real. And AI does give us the benefit to be able to have some knowledge of what to say, in a very reactive way, because ChatGPT can give it to us right on our phones.
Right.
It's on the app. So I can give it a prompt and get, the immediate answer, so that I can at least relatively have a direction to talk
right.
about. So I appreciate you sharing that, because a lot of companies don't have those strategies.
No, and that's why I share it. Like I want people to hear that. My fear is that somebody looks at me, and I happen to have an AI podcast, and it's the craziest story of how we got here. It's mostly by accident, a lot of luck, and an amazing amount of just great humans here in West Michigan that are so willing to share and support each other. It's incredible. But you might watch this podcast and think, well, that guy knows. They've got an AI strategy. New Wave must be super, everything's running on AI. We're not, because we were where everybody else was not that long ago.
Right.
We were talking a lot about it, but it wasn't until great leaders ask great questions. Pete, what's our AI strategy? Damn it, we don't have one. We got to build one. So we have that now, and we are working on and doing those things. And we thought we were behind. But the more companies we talk to, we realize how far ahead we are
Yeah.
because we actually have an AI strategy. And it's not too late. Anybody that's listening to this, you can start now. Ask AI how to build your AI strategy.
Yes.
And start there.
Yeah.
But I want people to realize that you're not far behind. It's not too late to catch up, but don't just like start throwing darts. You can do that, and you can have some success, but I don't think it'll be sustained. I'm worried that if you're not doing it in a measured way, that you're in a way that you're measuring what was happening with that workflow before you threw AI at it, then you won't know
Yes.
if you had that improvement when you threw AI at it or anything else. You got to measure the before, and you got to have a baseline of where you're at.
You're
and
going to
then
spend a
go
lot
from
of
there.
time and a lot of money
Yeah.
trying to hit it.
And people
the
have.
bullseye.
There's I just read a news story. This guy's like, yeah, we threw $500,000 at AI solutions and we have no measurable impact from any of it.
Right.
Like, okay, well, lesson learned.
Yeah. So you guys know I'm the founder of ADHD Online and,
Yep.
and the founder of Mentavi Health. That company, we've been talking about AI for years, trying to drive how AI can intertwine in healthcare. Because AI should not be diagnosing, AI should not be treating the patient, right? So this gets into, and I know I'm switching, I'm adding a little heavy nature to it, but I'm switching to it because AI is not the replacement. AI is a facilitator. So for ADHD Online and Mentavi, we wanted to encourage AI to help our clinicians. So our PhD psychologists, right? Our MDs, DOs that were treating our patients. These individuals we wanted to be able to help on an administrative level, and how AI can help them see the mechanisms within a diagnosis and what potential treatments could be more efficacious for the patient, which is really cool because we want to keep that highest standard of care at the forefront. So I'm still on the board of the company, and we still want to challenge each other to be able to use AI, but we have a responsibility. So AI, yes, it accelerates our knowledge. It may help you with imposter syndrome, but we still have a responsibility to drive a consistent lifestyle of showing people what to do instead of telling people what to do. And so AI cannot replace that.
So let me ask you this. You know where I'm going with this already. I like to ask people this question based on what you just said, and that was a great tee up for this. In what you just said and how you framed that, do you feel in general, not just even in your own companies, but in general, do you feel that AI is helping us think better, or is it replacing our critical thinking?
Yeah.
And I base this off of, I read an MIT study that came out, I think it was like 6 months ago now. And a lot of people have seen, I'm sure you saw articles on it as well. And they're saying, while the critical thinking has gone down, because people just go, oh, I don't know. And I'm going to spend half a second thinking about it. Now I'm just going to type it in there. There's the answer. Just like you said, it's so accessible now. Is it helping or hindering our critical thinking?
Yeah. So I think I did read the same article that you're referencing. And although it does accelerate information, there's still not the trust that you should have in that information. It goes back to the responsibility. We as responsible leaders in our organizations, in our communities, in our nations, have to show people that critical thinking is what takes that knowledge to a trust factor that people should be absorbing. They should not just trust technology, because then they're removing the critical thinking. Remember the two things I mentioned prior, and you guys already know this, but the two things that AI is missing is critical thinking and emotional intelligence, right? Now it mirrors some level of emotion, and Dan Hungerford is doing this really well. Mm-hmm. By the way, Dan was a leadership teacher for my kids at the school. So yeah, that's how I know Dan. I'm also helping advise Dan, forever friends. But it gives us the opportunity and responsibility to intertwine that critical thinking and that emotional intelligence with the information that we just saw. I think that's where a lot of people, and this is where that MIT article probably hit, was a lot of people are just saying, I trust technology today. I'm taking exactly what it says and applying it to my life, and then hoping for the best. Hope is not a strategy, folks.
Right.
And I think that comes from, well, it's here. I just typed it in. I don't want to burn the energy of trying to critically think, is this even correct or not? To just go, it's there. I'll just go with that.
Right.
You know, it's almost a laziness that comes with it. And I caught myself doing it a month or so ago going, holy shit, I'm using it way too much. I got to write an email reply. Well, I'll just do it in ChatGPT and then copy it. And I'm going, this is an email reply. Like, this is literally just answering one little question. Like, what are you doing next Thursday? And I'm going, just make it sound better. And I'm going, why am I doing this? So I have had to redo my process of, let me think through this. Let me write it all out. Then if I need to put it in there and say, hey, can you wordsmith this or make it flow better? Now I've got, to where it's not replacing my original thought, my creativity almost in the beginning. And that's where I saw it dipping, was my creative thought process was going down. And I started feeling that. And then I read that article. I'm going, well, no shit. I'm using AI way too much. Like, not responsibly, I guess, at that point.
Right. We're just going to be drones at some point.
Yeah.
Having AI talk for us.
But you're right. The trust of it, we shouldn't be trusting it 100%. And we know we shouldn't be trusting it.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. We know.
We know. So you have brought this up. We had a whole episode about, is AI making us dumber? I've more lately been thinking more along the lines of, I don't think it's laziness.
Really?
I think people, and I know people learn differently. I've said it here, I'm a visual learner. If you're explaining something to me, and I don't know if I have ADHD or not, maybe you could tell me after the episode, but my mind's wandering. I'm thinking about fantastical things and I'm over here. I need to stop and look at it for it to make sense to me. I think critical thinking is just like that. I think it's you have it, and maybe it's not have it or don't, but it's a spectrum of critical thinking. And the people who are saying they're worried about it replacing critical thinking are probably higher on the critical thinking spectrum. And the people that take everything they see on the news, hear on the radio, read in their news feed, get from AI, and they take it for gospel, they're going to be just lower on that spectrum, is how I look at it. So I don't think it's laziness. I think it's their mind just never goes there. And because there's places my mind doesn't go to. And that's where I think that AI can be a big help, in that if it can give people critical thinking skills that they don't have in their work. We just recorded an episode this morning where they're building in what they call it, chain of verification, I think, where before the AI gives you the output, the answer to the question that you asked it, it goes and asks several questions and answers them and verifies its response before it gives it to you, and essentially doing the critical thinking for you. I think that's going to help people that would have taken something for gospel and it's like, hold on, wait a minute, let me do some verification here. And now I'm going to give you a more curated answer, like like a good friend would, who is a good critical thinker and more of a advisor or a trusted advisor, I guess. I'll back off my rant, but
no, that makes sense though. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That it is, the models get smarter to give you correct information to begin with.
Yeah.
That if you're going to believe anything, at least it would be more accurate, more correct, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something, full transparency, I have ADHD. And people have heard me say this on other podcasts as well. But if you manage it correctly, it can be a superpower. So what I've seen is when I utilize AI, I'll take the prompt's outcome, so AI's response to my prompt, and I'll put it on a whiteboard. And I like to start my day whiteboarding, and I used to do this more frequently. I drove a consistent lifestyle of waking up at 6 a.m., and every wall in my office was whiteboard paint. It was painted with whiteboard paint. And I would throw on rap music at 6 a.m., coffee, and I would go to town based on the suggested outcome of the prompt I gave AI. And then I would drive that in a visual format, because I also am a visual learner, on my walls. And I would just spend hours just whiteboarding with myself, and then allowing myself the utilization of critical thinking to ultimately move the company that day. And the goal as a CEO is to move the company forward every day. What are we doing today to move the company one step forward, if not faster? So that is what I did at 6 a.m. every morning. Crank up that music and go to town on the whiteboard.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. There's a period of time in history where you would have been considered a madman. Now you're a CEO of 28 companies.
28 companies.
I'm not the CEO of the 28, but yes, I've been a CEO of many, and to this day, I am the CEO of some of these companies. But I still encourage other CEOs that I work with, and then the teams that I work with, to just find their outlet. Right? Find what allows them the space for critical thinking. Use AI. And I tell them, use AI. Even students, use it. But do not fully trust it.
Yep.
It can give you a good foundation to build on, but don't let it be your end all.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be a statistic in that MIT article.
Yeah, 100%.
And you become a drone. So, nobody wants that.
Just drooling on the sidewalk.
Man.
It's we've talked about a lot about it being a thought partner, right? And whether you're talking to a friend, even your best friend, you don't believe everything they tell you. Some things are going to be suspect. And
you believe everything I say.
You guys are friends?
Sure. Doesn't it show?
According to AI.
But if you're, use it like a partner. Always have a healthy skepticism for what it's giving you. Do a little bit of fact checking, unless it's just for entertainment purposes and you want to know like certain things. But if you're doing it for business, be skeptical. Also, ask it to challenge your assumptions. I love doing that. I love creating or using it to help create a document and then say, okay, tell me what's wrong with this document and give me suggestions for improvement. And you'll get a lot of great feedback from that. Like have it treat you like you should be treating it with a real healthy skepticism.
I've never done that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You
do
save
that
a lot of money on consultants if you
Absolutely.
do it that way. Right?
Yeah.
You can save a lot of time and money. Love that. Love that.
Or use it like a therapist like I do.
Yeah. Save a lot of money that way too.
Save a lot of money that way.
It's removing emotional intelligence. I don't know if it leads with empathy. Now Dan's challenging
does
that.
not.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it leads with empathy today. But no, good thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting at time. Any last
These
thoughts?
always go by way too fast.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I fumbled the beginning. I just wanted to I'll just keep going. But that's cool.
We'll just edit it. This was a 6-hour podcast. We edited it down to 45 minutes.
This guy wouldn't stop talking.
Can you just put the camera back on Drew and Pete? This guy's just like hogging all the time.
Bouncing all over the place.
Zach, it's been awesome having you on and talking with you about this. I'm sure we could spin this into like 4 different episodes and talk about each company and how you're doing it. Tell our viewers where they can find you.
Yeah, LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. Full name Zachariah Booker. But I'd love to connect with anybody, any entrepreneur from ideation to exit. If you've exited and you want to, you have aspirations for what's next. I've been there. I've exited as well. And I've got a great network of others who have done the same.
Nice.
And we're just looking to help. So you can find us startupgarage.org. Again, faith-based incubator. It's all free. It's just a network of people just willing to help, all for free. I look forward to connecting with you all. So thank you guys for having me on the podcast.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was fun hanging out with you. And
totally.
Like even in the pre-meeting, it's just when someone's got high energy, it's like, yep, that's our guy. That's who we want, or woman. That's who we want on the podcast, is someone that's got that energy that can bring it as passion for it, where we can just have to cut ourselves off because we can talk and talk. Mm-hmm. So appreciate you being on, man.
Yeah.
If you like today's episode, please hit the like and subscribe button and leave us a comment of what your thoughts are. Thanks, everybody.